Today we're going to be putting on our bottom planks. Got them all scarfed and those scarves cleaned up. I have one already set in and glued, and I've started my bevel to accept the next plank, the chine. So I'm going to show you how I did that on the other side. You're going to want to start at the stern. Get your plank sort of indexed at the stern along the transom, this back edge along the transom. Tack in a couple of fasteners. I've already done that, so I have some lines to let me know exactly where I want to put it in when I do have to take it off to glue it. The first plank is a little bit easier because you have access to this keel. You can clamp it in place. To figure out where exactly you want to put this second plank, since you don't have clamping access, I recommend adding a single screw in the inside corner, and this will allow me to pivot the plank if I need to. Before I drilled this, I made sure the outboard edge of my plank does meet that spot on the transom there. When you're fitting these planks, you have a little bit of wiggle room on the inside at the keel. This is going to be filled with epoxy. It will be sort of mowed down to accept the outer keel piece. What you're really looking for is this outboard edge meeting the corners of your molds and hitting right at the exact spot you want on the chine. So you have your corner on the mold, and you want to make sure that that lower edge of the plank hits right there. Again, since you can't clamp this, I just start at the stern, add in a fastener, and move up, and you're sort of checking as you go. I've used 7/8 number 8s into the transom. It's really important here to get as close to the middle of that transom as you can, and also drill your hole in line with the angle or rake of the transom. Otherwise, if you do it square to the plank, it'll pop out the inside of the transom, and this is much more important up forward where you have a really more aggressive rake on that bow transom. One reason to start at one end at the stern and come forward and fasten as you go is that if you were to just tack it back there and then spring it down to check your fit, and you bring it down there, you're going to see it's not quite going to fit. And that's because it's rising up along the keel. So you don't want to tack on that end and then bring it down and then tack on this end. This fastener won't be in the right place. An important thing to keep in mind when you're drilling for these fasteners, you do want to countersink them quite a bit. When you put on the keel, you'll be flattening out a 7/8 wide span almost all the way up forward. But you do want to countersink. If you use silicone bronze screws like these, they are somewhat kind to block plane blades and the like. So you can cut these without destroying your blades, but still, if you can avoid doing that, you might as well. And I've staggered my fasteners, which you can see on the other plank, inboard, outboard, in an alternating pattern. I've kept these pretty close to the center of the keel. That keel piece does come out a little ways, but it gets thinner. You don't want to go too far out with your fasteners and have them poke through the keel. That would be kind of a pain and a weird mess to have to clean up. And in the keel here, I'm using 5/8 number 8 screws. So as I go, I'm making sure that my plank is hitting on the edge of the mold, the outer part of the plank. If I laid it as it is, it's just the very slightest bit off of my mark here. So when this happens, it's common enough, but it does cause some problems with things sort of popping up. So you have to kind of creep up on your fit very carefully and make sure that your edges are where they need to be. And again, the spacing in here is much less important, you'll be able to fill that with epoxy, and your outer keel is going to come quite a ways out here and cover this all up. In this area, there is a lot of twist happening, more so obviously than back there. So what I'm going to do to make sure that my plank lands where I need it to is add an attack nail through the plank and into the frame. Be careful when you're adding fasteners that they're really in line and not just blowing out one side or the other. Oop. It's not tight, but that'll hold it in place. Now this is a little bit awkward, but you can see that I tried to screw this or drill this hole as close to the rake of the transom as possible. Just using my body weight to press it down. Yeah, I'm gonna leave those ones out for now. This outboardmost one, you do kind of want it, you don't want it super close to the edge here, because you will end up removing material for the bevel for the following plank. And even, so this one, even though I countersunk it quite a bit, it does end up getting nicked off just a little bit. So if you can set that one a little bit further in. And you do have to be careful when you're countersinking into this plywood, because sometimes it'll just keep going and then you have no shoulder to let your screw grab onto. Okay. Well, once you have it dry fit, you'll be ready to prep for epoxy. It's a good idea to take a pen and mark, just sort of trace where your transoms are, where the keel is on the inside. So when you flip it over and you're ready to put on your epoxy, you know exactly where you need to lay it out, and you don't put too much on there, have too much to scrape off, and that sort of thing. When I am epoxying these planks together, I'm doing a similar thing to what you saw when we did the scarfing jig, where I wet out the end grain, so the transom and open grain, and then the keel plain down grain, and wet that out with straight epoxy, and then come back and add on filled, thickened epoxy. When I was talking about the scarfing, I mentioned that you don't want to put too much glue. Here, you're kind of only restrained by budget. It's better to have more glue than not enough. This is a good moment to make sure, double check that you've taped your molds. I use packing tape just to make sure that I'm not gluing my molds to my boat. So once I've got it wetted out, I'm going to lay on my thickened epoxy. And again, kind of adding more than I might otherwise, because I do want squeeze out just to be sure that I'm getting glue everywhere that I need it. The next step is flipping that big plank over and laying it in place. Ideally, you're going to flip it over and get it in place as close as possible. If it's off and it's crazy, it'll slide around, you'll smear your glue all over the place and create a mess. So if you have somebody else who can give you a hand, that's great. Otherwise, just be very careful. I'm going to start fastening for the glue up pretty much the same way that I started the dry fit. This corner. As you're gluing up, you do want to be sure again that your bottom edge of your plank is in line with the transom. Set aside these 7/8 screws. We won't need them again until we get up to the bow transom. Now, as you're going and reinserting your fasteners, you do still want to double check that you have everything in alignment. Your plank on the points of the molds that you want them at. You might find that your transom screws are spinning a little bit, and that's because you're essentially going into end grain. So in this situation, we're okay, we're getting squeezed out, should be fine. What I did do is drill with a bit slightly shorter than needed, and let the screw kind of fill in the rest. And you do have a little bit of room. I've used 7/8 here, but I could have, if I felt like they were spinning out and not grabbing the way I wanted them to, would probably have enough room to do a 1-inch screw there without it coming out on the inside. So we have our bottom planks on, glued up. We'll clean up this squeeze out and make sure everything is happy. And then we have what looks like a boat. We will make our bevels for the next planks and carry on planking. Should go pretty quick. Once you have your bottom planks epoxied in place, tack down where they might be springing off of molds, make sure they're nice and flat, you will start the process of getting the bevel that will accept the next plank. And this happens again for the shear plank. So I've made this nifty little jig. It's basically just a chunk of scrap wood, and I cut away a little notch, or a large notch. This little edge right here is in line with this one. So what I can do is put it on my mold, bring it down, and make a little mark. And ideally, that mark is where I'm going to bring my bevel to. It should connect this point here and this point here in plane with this face. So I've done that at each station and then sprung a batten between all of them. Tacked a nail in there and just ran that batten, trusty batten, to get the line so you know your line between each mold. And one thing that's really important is to remember where the plank is actually hitting the mold. So on these, the first and the last mold, the plank isn't sitting square to this mold. It's only on this edge. On the forward one, it's only on this edge. And so when you use this jig, and if you were to set it square on there, you're gonna have a point that's way up here. But the plank isn't sitting on this, it's sitting on this edge. So when you do this, you will want to just use that edge, and that should get you an accurate line. You really don't want to take off too much material here. It will cause annoyances down the line. Once I have my line drawn, I consider this line to be a suggestion. So I try to bring my planed face as close to that line as possible, and then I'll take my plank and put it on there and see if I'm good, if I need to remove more material in one place or another. So I'm going to start at each mold again, this is just like the keel where you're trying to get everything sort of in plane with the mold and that bevel on the plank. So that's actually pretty good, and it seems to be a little bit inside of this line. That looks pretty good. So now I have a general idea at each mold where I want that line to end up. So I can rough out the rest of it till I have my plank ready to put on and fine tune the bevel. It is quite important here to make sure that you're not removing this bottom corner, because that is your plank line. If you're anxious about it at all, you can take a marker or red marker, something like that, that will make that little corner pop, because you do ideally want to bring this to a feather edge, and when you're trying to do something like that, it's really easy to make that edge go away. And then you can end up with some waviness in your plank lines.